in our last event, at the very end of it, Kristine came up to me. She's our next speaker. And I love the fact that you've got birds around your neck. And she came up to me, and before she could stop herself, she says, I want to speak. And the courage in which that took her to do had me say, of course you can speak, because of who she was being in the request. So Kristine is going to be speaking next. She's got an incredible story about herself. I'm going to say the name. And everyone, how many of you are terrified of public speaking? Like, if you came up here, you would just pass out right now. But, so can you be mindful that it does take that kind of courage for each of us to step up? So please love this woman as much as I do. And she is an author of an upcoming book called The Unconventional Addict, using the power of addiction to step into your higher purpose. And the name of her talk, and please love this woman, she needs your love. Why Am I Here is what she's going to be sharing about. Kristine.
Thank you. Oh, there's a lot of people in here. Oh my God, oh my God. Full disclosure, I woke up at 1 a.m. and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do I get off this roller coaster? Just like, and as I was preparing for this speech, I talked to my friend and she said, people get to do this survey, right? And they get to list what they're most afraid of. Guess what number 1 is? Public speaking. Yes, yes. Number 2, going to the dentist. Number 3, dying. Yeah. So, yeah. Woo! Okay. We ready? Okay. Okay. My name is Kristine, but the reason that I am here today, just like Joe said, is actually because of my addictive personality. Her name is Samantha. She signs me up for all sorts of shit, let me tell you. Yeah, she's the one that walked up to Joe and just pulled my body up to the front of the room and said, I want to speak. And I'm like, no, I was safe. I was sitting right there. I was safe. See, Samantha is fierce. She doesn't care about consequences. I don't think she even knows what that word means. She's a pro extrovert. In fact, she's loving this. It feels pretty good. Like, look at me, people. Woo! Kristine, me, on the other hand, my middle name is introvert. And if I had a choice, I would still be at home in my PJs watching This Is Us for like the 15th time. I'm a highly sensitive empath, a homebody. My heart is beating out of my chest right now. Netflix is my best friend. I'm the codependent, recovering codependent perfectionist who's been worrying about this speech for 90 days, 4 hours, and 21 minutes. But yeah, who is counting? Okay, so why? Why did I feel so compelled to speak here? And I'm trying not to faint. Okay, I'm going to shake a little bit. Okay, why am I here? Why am I doing this? Well, I believe we all have a Samantha to various degrees. And some of us have learned to harness her power because she is fierce. And here's a mind-blowing revelation for you. Having an addictive personality can be an asset. So I'm going to say that once more. Having an addictive personality can be your biggest asset. Doesn't that feel good? We can just like unzip that cloak of shame, toss it aside. So let's get real. Have you ever Googled, am I an alcoholic? It's okay to be honest. There's no shame here. Just remember to be your own best friend. Have you ever wondered why you can't have just one cookie, one drink, or how one episode on Netflix turns into a binge and then all of a sudden it's 2 a.m? Are you an all or nothing person just like me? See, I have Googled, am I an alcoholic, more times than I care to remember. My intuition would tell me that there was a problem, and I would search for a solution. But according to the test that Google spat out for me, I didn't fit the mold. I did not fit the mold of a traditional addict. See, I didn't drink by myself, and I didn't drink every day. But I knew. I knew that there was a problem. Maybe I didn't have a drinking problem per se, but I sure had a stopping problem. Yeah, no, Samantha, she doesn't have just one. She doesn't do singles. So you could set a watch to my Sunday mornings. Waking up, head pounding, reeking of stale alcohol and cigarettes. Craving something greasy and salty. Pizza and Tylenol, breakfast of champions. There were gaps in my memory as I tried to reconstruct the previous night, and I would tell the kids, I'm sorry. Mommy's not feeling well today. Can you go find Dad? And then I would go crawl back into bed. With the help of my husband, Tim, I tried to patch together the previous night like a sad game of hangover Clue. Each Sunday morning, I would swear off alcohol for good. I'm never, ever drinking again. Never. Done. Done. I would keep that promise on Mondays, because I still felt like shit, so it was pretty easy. Come Tuesday, I would still be pretty sure, but by Wednesday, slowly start to forget. And by Friday, I had no memory whatsoever of ever having broken up with alcohol. And by then, Samantha, she had already planned the next party. Dancing Queen blaring from the speakers as we were getting ready for yet another night on the town. In hindsight, I can see that I was highly addicted. And that my husband actually enabled me, because he would always get me home. Until the night he didn't. On this hot July night, we went out to see one of my favorite bands. But as soon as the alcohol that we brought ran out, Samantha quickly took the reins and started making new friends, because they had more. The concert, yeah, it's a complete blank. Months of anticipation, and I can't remember a thing. Later that evening, I barely knew where I had materialized as I stumbled off the train at our station, waving goodbye to yet new friends that Samantha had made on board, because they too had some, good stuff. I told my husband, hey, let's find a bar. The night is still young. Woohoo! But this time he said no. And he left. I stumbled into the sleepy suburban night alone, looking for an open bar, and the rest I don't remember. Waking up the next morning officially marked my rock bottom. I had no idea how I made it home. My Sunday morning game of Clue I had to do on my own, and huge chunks of time were unaccounted for. An image of a green, lush lawn flashed before my eyes. Where was that? Was that the neighbors? Had I passed out in my neighbor's lawn? I don't know. I couldn't remember. Anything could have happened to me. Anything. I had 2 adorable beings at home. How could I do this to them? How could I do this to myself? For the first time, my drinking caused true terror, and I didn't want to feel like this ever again. Addiction may not be our fault, but it is our responsibility. I needed to take action, take charge of my life, but I didn't know how. A surprise gift from the universe, a 3rd pregnancy, helped me get started. See, I would treat myself like shit any day of the week, but I would do anything for my kids. So keeping to my decision not to drink this time came pretty easy. Ever since my childhood trauma and not having been believed, I've been convinced that I'm on my own. I'm a lone wolf. I don't need anyone. Nope. Fine. Plus, I didn't want to bother the professionals with my pesky issues. How could I take somebody else's spot at an AA meeting or at rehab? I would probably get laughed out the door. At least that's what Samantha whispered in my ear. Plus, Google said I didn't have a problem, right? I probably made it all up, being so sensitive and all. During my recovery, I've come across others like me, other gray area drinkers. We don't quite fit the mold, but we know that there's a problem. And that's one of the reasons that I'm here today, to help others feel less alone and know that there's hope. That's one of my callings. So I want you all to think about this question. Why are you here? Not just here at Bluebird. Let's dig a little bit deeper. To make changes in our lives, it's so important to have a strong why, a purpose, a reason for being here on earth. A why strong enough to help you get up when we fall, because we will fall. It's part of the deal. What's that purpose that lights you up? Something you might even be brave enough to give a speech about? Can you start to see it? To help guide you, I'll share my 3 reasons for being here. Number 1, I mentioned them already, my children. They are my everything. They are my why. I've been a full-time mom for over a decade, and I would do it all again in a heartbeat. It's been the hardest, but also the most rewarding job of my lifetime. My kids are 14, 12, and 8 now, and they're all still living at home. But, did I say 18? I don't know what I said. I'm trying to stay present. They're 14, 12, and 8. Yeah, okay. My oldest just started high school. High school. Wasn't I just there? All the work I do on myself to heal, I do with them in mind. I want to be the best possible version of myself for them, and I work on it every day. Reason number 2, veganism. Okay, this one lights me up too. Let me tell you why. About 10 years ago, we found out that my son was allergic to dairy, and I was dumbstruck. We are Swedish, for crying out loud. That's all we eat. Like, my mother worked for the Swedish Dairy Association her whole life. What else is there to eat anyway? Like lettuce? I don't like lettuce. Suddenly a memory surfaced of me in my 20s, a doctor telling me that I was allergic to dairy. Ha. Oh my goodness, I had dairy for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day. It's like he was asking me to stop breathing air, so obviously I went and got a second opinion, because that's just dumb. But this time it was different, because this was about my kids. And like I said, they're my number 1 reason. So this time I was on a mission, and this is when having an addictive personality is an asset, because she went all in. Like, we watched all the documentaries, we read all the books, just trying to find out about this really weird way to live without dairy. Oh my goodness. You know what I found out? That plants have protein. No one told me that. Plants have calcium? What? My research even showed that we can prevent and heal all sorts of disease with a whole foods plant-based diet. I didn't know that. Plus, to me personally, eating animals had always seemed kind of weird. Like, I had dogs at home who I loved and cared for, and then we would eat a pig, a chicken, or a cow. To me, that was like, eee! So finding another way to live that was actually beneficial was like, I have found the holy grail. So within a couple of years, the whole family actually went plant-based, and my son and my husband got rid of their asthma. My son got rid of his stomach issues, and I said goodbye to seasonal allergies that was really limiting my life. So I couldn't wait to share this with the world. So my blog was born, which leads me to reason number 3, recovery. As I started sharing our vegan curious journey, I became braver. I came out of the shadows, no longer so afraid to be seen. But I really realized that there were so many we don't talk about that hiding underneath the surface. I felt hushed and held back, like I couldn't share my whole self. I had to let go of the shame that had happened to me when I was a child. I had to let go of the shame around my addiction. I had to let myself heal. I finally felt brave enough to look at my relationship with alcohol, and at this point in my life, I had been sober for 5 years. Thank you. But I had done that all on my own, and I hadn't even told anyone, and I hadn't even necessarily told myself. It wasn't until we moved down here from Chicago that I was guided to a group of amazing women, some of who are in this room today, that I started owning my addiction, owning my life. For the first time, I told another person, I think I have a problem with alcohol, and the healing could officially begin. So how about you? What's coming up for you right now? I want to do a little exercise with you. Are you ready? Okay, let's all take a deep breath. I'm going to invite you all to close your eyes for a minute and take another deep breath with me. Why are you here? What lights you up? What can you spend hours on and never get tired of? What's something that you would do even if you didn't get paid? What makes your heart sing? I'd like to invite you to take another deep breath with me and open your eyes. How did that feel? Let's take out our journals if we have one, or you can write on your phone. And I want you to write at the top of the page, why am I here? Sit with it, feel it in your body. And now, without editing, write down everything that comes to mind. Free write. You're creating a list to your soul. Why am I here? Okay, I think we could probably take in this information all day, right? But great job, everyone. I hope this exercise helped you get to know yourself a little better. I want you to take a look at your list right now and see how it makes you feel. Is there one thing on there that stands out? Circle it, own it. Because the good news is that you have now created a goal for your inner Samantha to work towards. She will take this spark and grab it, run with it. Who knows where you will end up? So buckle your seatbelt and enjoy the ride. I do have a little conclusion. Thank you for being so kind with me. And thank you for letting me share my story. Give yourself a big hug for doing the work and coming here today. It's been my honor, and if you need me, I'll be at home in my PJs, recovering from all this peopling. Thank you.